You gotta just chill out, man.
Pittsburgh Steeler fans, welcome back to another episode of the Scho Bro Show. This is Steel Curtain Network's Dave Schofield coming at you Tuesday night. Yeah, it's about 9:15 p.m. We're running a little bit late tonight, but hey, where else would you rather be, Steelers fans? And with me as always, except when he's not, it's nice to have you back, Big Bro Scho. Rich, how's it going tonight?
Nice to be back. I was able to bounce around a little in the live chat last week as I was driving.
I saw you there.
Yep. So, yes, because I cracked you up with the whole beaver nuggets.
Yes. What'd you think? Did you have those before?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I found the I don't know, the local version that if you can't get to a Buc-ee's, that's the Martin's Dittos. They're pretty much the same thing. They're pretty good stuff. But yeah, if you've been to a Buc-ee's, you can't miss them because they have 7 million bags of them around there. But
it was just tough coming back last week because it was less than 20 degrees out when I got home.
See, you know what? We'll probably talk about this a little bit later. I had the exact opposite experience with that. So, but it's good to have you back. You and I both got to do an episode with Bad there. I thought of a good topic, and then I was like, Bad, this is perfect for you. And I actually want to start this week off, but right before we get into our topic, is that I want to ask you, basically, it was last week's big question. Because Bad and I did a top 5 list of our top 5 favorite Steelers acquisitions that we were the most excited about at the moment they happened. Because I ran an article at steelcurtainnetwork.com, and man, oh man, did people miss the assignment. And I even had to like, did I not put that in the article? And I did, but people glazed over it. That it wasn't, because someone's like, oh, I love the acquisition of Donnie Shell. I'm like, did you know who Donnie Shell was whenever they acquired him? Oh, no, I had no idea. I was 8 years old. Then how was that like your most favorite acquisition? We're talking about when you first heard the news of the Steelers trading for them, signing them, or drafting them. What would your number one be?
Okay, remind me what your number one was.
My number one was the drafting of Ben Roethlisberger because I really wanted them,
which was
not to just get a quarterback, but to get him. And Bad's number one was the trade for Jerome Bettis.
Yes, and I would have had Big Ben at number 2.
Okay.
And for me, number 1 was the trade for Jerome Bettis.
Okay, yeah, because to me...
He believe it or not, this is why I was so excited. I don't even remember what year it was, if it was after his rookie year or the next year. He did one of those things in the summer that they used to do where they'd have football players come together and compete in different events and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember all the way back in the day when Willie Galt was on it and things like that. But they did one of these things, and Jerome Bettis was on there as a Ram. And I was just, they were talking about how he'd gone to college at Notre Dame, and I saw this guy, and I just like, this guy is amazing at his size to be a running back.
Yeah.
And I kind of fell in love with him, not even watching him on the field, watching him in that particular show.
Gotcha.
And when the Steelers made the trade, I was just like, whoa, they went and got this guy that I just couldn't believe the way he moves at his size. I was like, yes, that's going to be perfect with the Steelers.
But that's the right answer. I also love that somebody else in the article, they made a comment that they said, it wasn't Jerome Bettis for me because he was coming off a down year, and I thought maybe the Steelers just traded away and got a washed up running back.
No,
boy, was I happy I was wrong. So yeah,
off year, but see, the off year was totally caused by a change in coaching staff.
Yes, it was, which we're going to get into right here in just a second. Because one, I wanted to say that was a great transition, and I'm going to ruin it.
Yep.
Okay. No. Because Brent Howell said, I was surprised no one said James Ferrier. James Ferrier was a bust for the Jets. That's why some people might not have been as excited. Like, oh, you're going to bring in this bust. Other people
wasn't excited until I saw his play. Once I saw his play,
based on hindsight, Once you saw what he did as a Steeler, that's a whole different story. So that was a fun one to do last week with Bad. I did the article. It ran over the weekend at stillcurrentnetwork.com. You can still go check that out. Or if you missed last week's show, you can go back and check that out. That was a whole lot of fun. But you did the right thing. That the biggest thing that happened with Bettis and why they needed to move on from him. Well, first of all, we even talked about it, the guy that they thought they had it that was going to be better than him with the Rams in the new system and everything, that passed away like 10 years ago. Yeah, I had to look him up.
Marcus Dupree?
No, I thought it was
that was
Phillips.
He eventually, yeah.
I can't remember the first name though right now. I mean, talked about him last week. Looked him up last week.
Lawrence Phillips.
Lawrence Phillips. There you go. Thank you. That a coaching change switched stuff up. So let's get into the title of our show. With so many new pieces, can we tell the game the Steelers are playing? Now, kudos to Big Bro. He came up with our topic and title tonight. It was really nice, especially this time of year when I have to do stuff for other shows as well.
I was driving to Dad's house when you texted me, and I was still driving there when I texted you back and said, "How about this?"
Yeah, I'm sure you were voice to texting me. You weren't texting while driving. I do that all the time. So I like this one, but now I just out of curiosity, make sure we're on the same page here. What do you mean by, to spell it out for everyone who's listening, what do you mean by the game the Steelers are playing? You're talking about in building the roster and what they're going to do for the upcoming season and beyond. Is that what you're saying there?
Okay. See, I actually did this on purpose because there's two takes that you can take away.
Okay,
from
good.
And my thought is we could talk a little bit about both. Okay.
Perfect.
One is what we expect the game to look like for the Steelers on the field.
Yeah.
And then there's always that whole talk about, Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin and this and that. At times we would say,
how they do things.
They're playing chess when everyone else is playing checkers.
Yeah. Let's start with the second one, because I think, because you mentioned with the new coaching staff, when it came to Jerome Bettis not really fitting in and everything. And I think that's important, that we got to remember that it's a new coaching staff in Pittsburgh, because we got comfortable as Steelers fans in the way the Steelers did stuff. Doesn't mean that they have to do things that way anymore. I was reminded of this while I was catching up on some podcasts that I still needed to listen to from the end of last week. I was listening to Black and Gold Blueprint with Roy Countryman and Rob. And something that Roy said when they were doing a mock draft, they're like, oh, let's take this guy. This was later on in the draft. It was just one of those late taking a flyer guys. They do a mock draft on every one of their shows. Right now, it seems like. And he said, let's take a flyer on this guy, defender from Nebraska. Those Nebraska guys fit into the Steelers defense pretty easily. Can we say that anymore?
You can't say it definitively.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean right now.
Doesn't mean it doesn't. It can't be.
Right now, we don't know, because we don't know how much of that is going to be kept and how much things could change.
Exactly. We can't do the got to check all the boxes for the first round draft pick that it has to have, Omar Khan or the head coach there in order for them to take, all these things that we're used to the Steelers doing or think that they could do. You kind of can't take that for granted.
Right, because it's not the same. First, we saw the transition of the draft stuff when Colbert left.
Yeah.
And Omar Khan came on board. And so far when it was Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin, I've loved their drafts.
Yeah.
Right?
20 of 21 players are still on the team. One medical retirement, and that's it.
Yeah. And so far, now you think, oh, Khan, he's still got it then. And we're not, but is the focus going to be done the same way with Coach McCarthy?
Yeah.
We don't know yet. Like, we may finish the draft. We may get through draft weekend and us be like, okay, we see what's going on here. Things didn't change a whole lot, changing out the head coach, which then at that point, you might be able to start to say maybe Omar Khan does have more say than people sometimes, wanted to put a lot on Coach Tomlin. Maybe it's not, that the coach gets input. In the end, the GM's going to make the decision. We don't know. We're going
to learn a lot this time, I think.
Yeah. Like, to me, there's going to be, just like with Omar Khan's first draft, how I felt there were more layers to that draft. There was more to look at because of the change. We could be looking at that same type of thing this year with the new head coach, to where, like I said, when that draft is finished, you may look at it at first and say, oh, that's different. But when you really get into it and start breaking it down, you may be able to understand, oh, with Coach McCarthy, he's looking for this, the same way we used to say some of the things Coach Tomlin looked for.
Yeah. I mean, here, Jordan, let me think of it. I mean, we might learn, well, you're talking about attributes and things as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm even talking about, we can come out of this draft and we might be able to tell a little bit more of what Coach McCarthy's plan is going to be for the Steelers offense this year.
Yes.
Prime example. Do they, they've got 12 draft picks. Like I said, I still don't think they're going to pick all 12. But even if they do, are the Steelers going to have someone that is a more traditional fullback? Because they haven't had a traditional fullback, even though, they had Connor Hayward, which I tell people, and of course, Roy was saying this on that same podcast I was listening to, him and Robert Wright, Steelers fans who really wanted to bust on Connor Hayward, you're going to miss him.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to replace that dude with multiple players. He gave you depth at tight end. He gave you depth at running back. Yes, because if you got in a bunch of injuries, he could have gone in and played running back. He gave you a fullback without having to use up a roster spot, and people complaining, why is Derek Watt on there and they never put him on the field? Okay. He gave you great special teams play. You got 4 different hats for one dude, and you might be able to replace him with 2, but yeah.
He was your tush push guy.
He was your tush push guy.
He was Coach Tomlin's Swiss Army knife.
Yeah.
He was.
But he's not the traditional NFL fullback, even though, putting this out there in case you guys didn't hear it on that show, little tidbit of information coming from Mama Hayward, that their plan in Vegas is to use him as a fullback, not as a tight end or anything of that nature. And that's part of the reason, they loved him. They signed him to a nice contract, and I think Steelers fans are going to miss him. But maybe the Steelers add a more traditional fullback. If they do, that might give you an indication of what the Steelers offense might be doing. The Steelers might not add much more at tight end, which tells you they might really be bringing down how much usage they're going to have at tight end. Because if you don't have much more other than the 2 that you got, then I don't think you're going to run a lot of 12, if that's the case. So those are some things that we don't know. We're not even exactly sure. You look at what the Steelers have done offensively, which I think needed a bit of a change. You look at what Mike McCarthy's done in the past. You look at the Steelers roster, and now you're trying to mesh all those things together and try to figure out what kind of offensive game the Steelers are going to be playing.
Yeah, and I'm still not totally there. The draft will now tell me everything.
I think so too.
Yeah. Put it this way. So let's think about what the Steelers have done and what they might do in the draft and what that could mean for them. Let me ask you this. What do you see going on if you see the Steelers taking a wide receiver in the first round?
that means, you know what? You're going to get back to the 11 that
Yep.
You're McCarthy likes, and last year's quarterback, whether or not he'll be this year's quarterback or not, also likes as well.
Yeah, I'd say you'll see a lot more 11 personnel. You're going to see a lot more 3, 4, receiver sets, things like that. So
you can't do it with what the receivers had before. So you got to do something about it,
right?
If that's what you're going to do, yeah.
Oh, and if you need a fullback, just put Mount Washington back there.
Who knows? They might want to do that. I don't know. I mean, that would be pretty cool, but I also don't know that it's tough to play fullback when you're that tall. Honestly, I think that would be the biggest thing working.
Yeah, that would be the biggest thing for him.
Yeah, I mean, also people are like, "Oh wow, look at YA Black. Oh, he's got the size of a nose tackle." Honestly, being tall does not help being a nose tackle.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, look at Big Snack. He was not an overly tall. He wasn't short, but he wasn't overly tall.
You know, think about some of the great nose tackles that or good nose tackles that you've seen in the NFL. Lost him. Mm-hmm. Played for the Patriots.
I know
Will Fork. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Will Fork.
Yep.
Think of the Tony Saragusas. Think they're big guys, but they are not overly tall.
Yeah.
They're your shorter, stockier, probably were wrestlers in high school kind of guys.
Yeah. Do you know how tall Casey Hampton was listed?
6 even, wasn't he?
6'1", according to Pro Football Reference. And like Javon Hargrave was 6'2". He was actually kind of tall for being a nose, if you think about that. So people are like, YA Black, isn't he like 6'6" or 6, something crazy like that? That's a lot. So,
well, and to me, then you're talking those nose tackles. You know, you want that shorter guy because he can start down lower and stay lower, and it's easier for him to gobble up 2 guys. Than somebody that's tall and is down and really has to come up more to find, their leverage. So,
and I mean, Sebastian Joseph Day, who they signed. Well, that's some of the stuff we'll talk about after our break. He's 6'4", which is not short, but also not freakishly tall.
Yeah, kind of that in between height there.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I'm still waiting to see
about that all because of Mount Washington. I said might be too tall to play fullback.
But getting back kind of to where our topic is like we don't know. I feel we have a better idea defensively what the Steelers may look like, at least in terms of how guys might be used.
Yeah.
But we still don't know what they're going to run.
Yeah.
We don't know.
I mean, they're going to, for now, stay in the 3-4 because
the 3-4. But are we going to do? Are we going to be a zone blitz team? Are we going to be a man on the out? Play man on the outside more? What
These are things that we're
going to find out. And again, we still won't know that for certain, even after the draft. But that might give us a little more insight to lean one way or the other.
Yeah. I mean, let's go back to the defensive line. Who were the starters last year? Hayward, Harmon, Benton. Are they going to keep Keanu Benton at nose? I don't think they should. So then who's it going to be? Benton or Harmon? We'll see. Maybe just, I mean, they're all going to play, but who's going to start? I mean, I brought this up early on, and I know some people that brought this up since. Like I did an article. Oh my goodness, when was this? Week or so? I can't remember. It all runs together about what the Steelers should do at left tackle. And my answer to that was, wait. You have Broderick Jones, who very well could be ready to go. You have Dylan Cook, small sample size, but played well. you could get into training camp and see how things are going with those guys from both health and ability. And then if there's a bigger problem, you could then start looking. You go out and think, oh, well, there might be a problem when it comes around. You could get somebody else. You might have 3 guys that are all starter capable, and then you got to try to figure out how you're going to what you're going to do, which isn't the worst thing in the world. But at the same time, do you really want to go out and allocate your resources somewhere where you don't need them yet? But something that I had said at one point, just to throw it out there, and some people brought this up in this article, how much out of positioning that the Steelers were doing for years will the new coaching staff continue with or remedy?
Yeah.
Does Troy, if you have a problem with left tackle, is Troy Fautanu set at right tackle? Or are you going to let him go back to where he played in college?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they are, because I thought he did a nice job at right tackle. But you can't say that, oh, well, yeah, he's locked in there. They're not going to move him back. You can't say it. There's too many new factors.
Yeah.
That's the exact kind of example we're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah. And we kind of got away from it, but, we were talking about, the Steelers go play a 3-4. I think it was in one of our Slack conversations, Coach KT Smith hops in and he's like, are they really going to play a 3-4?
Yeah.
Or are they going to play a more of a 2-4-5?
Mm-hmm. Well, because
which honestly, the 2-4-5 fits today's NFL better, especially because we use the outside linebackers as pass rushers.
Your base defense isn't what you're in most of the time, so that's just, that's ultimately what it is. So, to me, I think whether you're a 3-4 or a 4-3 comes down to the edge rushers, honestly.
Yeah. Yes.
Are your edge rushers more outside, quote unquote, outside linebackers that could be guys that could play off the ball and potentially drop into coverage? Or are they defensive ends in a 4-3 that are bigger guys that need to still be able to take on other things? That's why
that are always going to be on the line of scrimmage.
Always on the line. And yeah, that's why I've argued over and over again the people that want to get in the debate versus Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. I keep saying they don't play the same position. Cleveland thought they had a Cleveland radio shock jock thought they had Filipponi caught when they said, this was before last season. Like if any other NFL team, who would they rather have, Myles Garrett or TJ Watt? And he just kind of froze a little bit. And my answer is, it depends on what defense you're running. Yeah. If you're running a 4-3, you'd rather have Myles Garrett. If you're running a 3-4, you'd rather have TJ Watt.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah.
So shows he can drop back and play coverage.
Yeah. So
Myles Garrett's never doing that.
No, ever. He's not. Yeah, he would suck at that. So yeah. But that is one of those things that also that I have to ask. How are the Steelers, we talk about, they're only in base, 30 to 33% of the time, 30 to 35% of the time, about a third of the time, maybe less, blah, blah, blah. Is that going to be the case with the new coaching staff? Are we going to see more base defense, or I wouldn't be shocked at all, or are we going to see less base defense?
Right. Or is the base defense going to turn into the 2-4-5?
Yeah. So yeah, I got you. Are they going to do the quote unquote 3 outside linebacker package, which basically has Nick Herbig playing inside linebacker, which is something Jim Wexel wanted to move him to right away when he first came to the Steelers. That's another thing to consider. That's a crazy one. You ready? Oh, the Steelers haven't done much at inside linebacker. I found out today, because I'm doing an article for tomorrow at steelcrewnetwork.com. Make sure you check out that website. That I'm looking at where the Steelers spending positionally. I know things change this time of year in and out and everything. And I'm like, why are the Steelers higher at linebacker than I have them being? They have Nick Herbig as a linebacker, not as an edge rusher on over the cap, which I find interesting, which I think is a mistake. But honestly, out of every one of those guys the Steelers have their as edge rushers, who's the one that could possibly play inside linebacker?
Correct.
I could see it as Herbig, or could they have him come in and play some off-ball linebacker more? I wouldn't. I can't say that I think they will, but I can't say that I think that they won't. I mean, because knowing Patrick Graham, which I don't know him very well, but knowing of his reputation, is that he's going to work with what he's got. And if Nick Herbig's one of their better defenders, if three of your top defenders are all outside linebackers and you typically only have two of them on the field at a time, guess that's why Steelers fans want to trade one of them away. If you keep them all, use them all. That's his job to figure out.
Yep.
So I don't know what to expect with so many things on the field, let alone how they're going to do this going forward.
Which then, to me, takes to the other side of the whole idea. Think about the game the Steelers are playing.
Mm-hmm.
Are the Steelers still playing chess with other folks playing checkers? Well, yeah. I don't know.
Were they never really doing that, though, even though they talked about it? Sometimes it felt like they weren't.
We said that a lot about Omar Khan. There were times where Omar Khan was playing chess when others were playing chess.
I was talking about actually on the field during games.
No, I'm talking now kind of organizationally.
Mm-hmm.
Because organizationally, that's where I start to think of what game they're playing. Because organizationally, to me, wraps up both on the field and off the field. So it's the transactions and the things that you're doing there and how that translates to going onto the field.
Yep.
And, the Steelers, like, honestly, the past 2 years in particular, I mean, maybe all three, we've gotten through drafts and we have looked at them and said, how in the world did Omar Khan pull that off?
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to say the same thing this year?
Yeah.
Don't know. Will he be playing chess while others are playing checkers, or will he be playing Chinese checkers?
Yeah. I'm thinking of because that's the thing with having younger kids. The movie they did of the Lorax, where Danny DeVito is the voice of the Lorax. And the one star comes over to him like, what are you all playing? He's like, well, I'm playing this and he's playing that, and I'm not sure what he's playing. So they were all playing cards together, but they were all playing a different game. That's kind of what I think of. Hey, I want to bring up this one comment. This is from Steel Loyal, says, and Patrick Graham ain't going to show his hand until the regular season starts either. We won't know what the defense will look like until week 1. My thing is, the excitement that I get is I want surprises. As long as you're giving me surprises, that's great. And here's the thing. There might be some that might not work as well. And that's okay as long as you identify that it doesn't work and then move on from it. Give it a chance, but at the same time, don't stick to doing the same old that's not working at all and then keep going with it. So, yeah, that's it. It can be that with so many new pieces, can we tell the game the Steelers are playing? No, and part of that is kind of exciting, isn't it?
It is a place where we have not been for a long time. The closest we came to it was changing from Colbert to Khan.
Yeah.
But even that we knew could only go so far. Okay, so now you have Khan and Weidel in place that we've had there, but now you're talking about basically 100% new coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
Different pieces when it comes to the players. What is it going to look like? I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't even go back and look at Mike McCarthy with the Dallas Cowboys or Mike McCarthy with the Green Bay Packers and say, oh, we're probably going to look like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know that's I don't know 100% that that's how Mike McCarthy is.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't think when Dallas hired him, he could have any success in Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
I questioned the hiring. And at least offensively in Dallas, He worked.
Yep.
A lot better than I thought he would.
And I admit I have to warm up to Mike McCarthy for the same way last year I had to warm up to Aaron Rodgers, because I'm not forgiving either one of them for Super Bowl 45.
Well, yeah.
They've always been the enemy.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So there we go. Anything else you want to say about this before we take our break, bro? Any final thought on it or anything?
Just, as long as we're playing, chess or 3D chess, if you're a Big Bang enthusiast or something like that, as mahjong, we could go James Bond and play a little Baccarat maybe. But let's hope we're not playing Go Fish.
Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So like, I want to be up there in those high prestigious type of games out there, not Go Fish or Crazy Eights, or and yes, there's double meanings you could think about in both of those, but it's like
yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
As long we can play a little different game than we're used to playing.
Yeah,
but I want it to be one of the. I want to see us be playing one of those games that takes a little something to play.
Exactly. So, all right. Well, we're going to go ahead here and take our break. If you're with us here live, we're not going anywhere. And if you're with us here in the audio, stick around. We'll be right back after these messages. All right, we got to relax, Steelers fans. We can't worry that, we can't necessarily tell the game the Steelers are playing, but you know what? We've got to also say we don't know everything that's going on. We got to trust in what's going on in the process at times until we can finally see the result. It's funny. Someone's already saying people are saying different games. Steeler Chick 46 says Texas Hold'em. Christine Go Black and Gold says Baccarat. I was playing that today. To me, I was going to say, or are you playing the game Sabak?
Some game I've never heard of.
Are you familiar with Sabak?
No.
Okay. Well, let's just say this. If you knew how to play Sabak well, you could find yourself as the captain of the Millennium Falcon.
There you. Oh, yes. Gotcha. Took a minute.
So,
like,
so there we go.
No,
all right.
okay.
Let's get to the news. Now that we're in the second half of the show. Rich,
Dave,
it's the first time we've been together.
Now, you didn't let me finish that out, though.
Oh, well, okay, go ahead.
Dave.
Uh-huh.
Let the Wookiee win.
The Wookiee win. There we go. Oh, okay. So, do you realize what happened 2 weeks ago when we had our show together?
Was the opening of free agency. We were just into free agency.
And we had breaking news that we talked about for a while on the show, only to find out that breaking news was retracted. Well, Guess what? 2 weeks later today, the Steelers officially announced it, and now it's the news. So the Steelers.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, wow, just 2 weeks later. Okay.
Yep. So it's Brock. Brock was the first name, right? Hoffman. Okay, I'm pretty sure. I'm going from memory now. I don't have it up here in front of me. So
Brock.
The offensive lineman. I mean, the Steelers. Well, that news coming out, that actually could have been bad for the Steelers if there was really something going on there, because he was not. You're only allowed to do the legal tampering with unrestricted free agents,
right?
Or restricted free agents that have been given a tender, and he was neither. I don't know that you're allowed to actually talk to people with that. So to me, we can now go back to what we said 2 weeks ago. this is one of those, more of a depth piece, or this could end up being the Steelers starting left guard. But now it's not just Spencer Anderson.
Yeah.
And I also am not going to be shocked if the Steelers go that way in the draft. I'd be fine if they went that way high in the draft. Some people are concerned about the salary cap implications of that. And you're probably like, what do you mean salary cap implications by this? Because the Steelers have drafted a lot of linemen high in the draft. And I'll have an article at steelcurtainetwork.com by the end of the week that's going to cover that. I have to run another one first to set it up. So that was one piece of news. Then the Steelers also added another player. And you would think that I would want to have this right in front of me right now, and I just don't happen to have it. But it was a running back.
Travis Homer.
Yeah, I wrote the article. I should remember who he is. But people were like, oh no, here comes, what does that mean for Caleb Johnson? Okay, you've got to look into it. Travis Homer has 7 carries over the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
He doesn't even have 100 offensive snaps. But he has over 500 special team snaps. Only 1 kick return, so it's not like he's a return specialist, which I thought he might have been when they first signed him. But no, he's got like 20-some tackles over the last 3 years. This seems more like is this one of these guys that could potentially replace one aspect, maybe even 2 aspects of Connor Hayward? Because he could give running back depth in case of emergency and also get special teams play. I don't know. First, we got to see what he does in the black and gold. It's not one of those signings that it's guaranteed he's going to necessarily be anything. I don't think. I mean, it's been a while for you. I know I mentioned the Sebastian Joseph Day. I don't know that you've been on the show since that signing. That's going to be interesting to see. Is he a guy that's just joined the rotation guy, or is he a guy that's possibly to answer the call at nose guard? We don't know. So, other than that, I'm trying to think if there's any other really Steelers news. I
mean, really what's going on more of late is getting contract stuff in so you could keep your cap stuff up to date.
2 things. One, there was some news today that Mike Tomlin has hired an agent for sports media, which means that some people are thinking that means he's preparing to maybe do something in that regard this year. I mean, I like something little, something big. We don't know, but at least
I like Jeremy Spett's idea and saying that SCN should offer him a contract.
I think we should. Should. We can get him that information. I have an avenue to get it to Coach Tomlin. We'll get it there.
So do I.
Say, all right, Coach, you're coming on.
Different avenue than yours, probably.
Yeah. We'll see if we can get him there.
Yeah.
Then the one last thing I wanted to say, and now I forget what it was. There's still one player that I even have in my salary cap stuff and everything that the Steelers have not officially announced. Do you know which one that is?
I don't, but I'm not going to be surprised. I know it's one of those I'm not going to be surprised when you tell me.
Yeah. I don't think they've announced Darnell Savage. He definitely didn't speak to the media when everyone else was speaking to the media when they signed him.
Right.
So I can't recall that they've announced it. So that's just one that I'm just, keeping an eye on and everything. So let's say that is what it is. But other than that, I think that's the news. Think we're covered?
No good news is good news.
There you go. All right. So it's on to 5 minutes of Steelers talk. This is technically yours tonight, bro.
Yep.
But we might be going just a little bit different with this one. Okay, so I got the timer ready.
All right.
The floor. Next week is the
live chat. Yep.
Make sure you guys are brainstorming throughout the next week.
All right. I thought this one would be fun since you and I have not done a show for several weeks together. Because that first week you were.
Well, we had one sandwiched in there.
Was there one in between?
I was out, then we were back for one, then you were out.
That's right. Then I was out. Right.
Yeah.
So you were out because you were in Myrtle Beach, and I was out because I was in Myrtle Beach. That was my first trip to Myrtle Beach. Had never been to Myrtle Beach before. So I think tonight we'll talk about, okay, what did you like to do, or what was fun about Myrtle Beach?
Yeah. Live chat. Let us know if you've been there or not before. If you've ever been on a trip to Myrtle Beach. Now, your Myrtle Beach was a little bit different than my trip. You were 2 weeks later, which meant you were actually there in the craziest part of spring for Myrtle Beach.
Correct.
Because it was
for multiple reasons.
Because it was their Canada Days stuff going on. Did you even realize that?
Yeah. No, I think I did at one point.
Yeah. So I have never been to Myrtle Beach beyond the second week of March. I've even been there as early as the last week of February. That's always the time that we go. And we stay at a place that's in the north. It's not North Myrtle Beach. That's its own town. We stay in a part that's in the northern part of Myrtle Beach. It's actually, I think, what is it? 52nd Ave? Is it Avenue? 52nd Avenue North is where we go. And we don't go much south of where you get over to Broadway at the beach. But some of our favorite stuff to do in Myrtle Beach is we like Broadway at the beach because it's not crazy when we go there. It's kind of empty. Some of the places aren't even open. But we really like that aquarium there. My kids love the Wonderworks thing that has all kinds of cool nerdy stuff. We eat at Wahlburgers. But that's one of our favorite places. Other than that, I told you about one of my favorite places to eat. That I like, River City.
Yeah, it's funny. You say one of your favorite places to eat. There's like 9 of them down there.
I know. There's So it's not. I mean, in Myrtle Beach, it's not like there's just one of them. But River City Cafe, I get the big the OMG burger that's got like egg and cheese sandwiches as the bun and these huge onion rings. That's good stuff. But the biggest thing we like with Myrtle Beach is just to chill and relax. But what kind of stuff did you get into?
Well, of course, I was down there to see my son and our nephew play baseball. So they were down spending a few days at the Ripken Experience down there, which that is they have a great setup there. And for them, there's a 3-week period in particular that's like their busiest time. So we're there. They had 4-year colleges there playing games. They had 2-year colleges like Kyle and Warren there playing games. They had high schools there on their spring breaks playing games. So it was just many fields of baseball going on. So that was nice. Now, our brother-in-law Jamie and I, we were staying about 3/4 of a mile away from there. We were down near the mall.
Hey, man, there was one.
Yep, there is a mall.
Yeah.
That was down there, right, and so basically it was mall, our hotel, airport.
Sure.
So that was great. Now, what did we like to do that was fun? So we went over to, I can tell you what it was. I can't explain exactly where it is, but if you're down there, you know where the big Ferris wheel is, you go that direction.
The one on the beach or the one off the beach?
The one off the beach.
So that's Broadway at the beach that I was talking about.
Okay. So yeah, we're there. We're in that area to go to Pop Stroke, which is the Tiger Woods is part of it, the putt-putt.
We go to Broadway at the beach 2 or 3 times every time we go there, and I didn't even know that was there. And that's just a part of it we never get to.
Last year was the first year it was there. So
yeah,
like Kyle and Warren and Jamie played on it last year when it had just basically opened. We went there. It was fun. I mean, that was putt on a whole other level. It was really nice and a lot of fun. And you go and they have 2 courses and you pay one price and you can play as long as you want. Wow. So we went and played both the courses. It was a lot of fun. So there was that. And basically for me, there was that. Kyle and I played a round of real golf.
I was going to ask you that because Myrtle Beach is known for its golf. And you know what I've never done at Myrtle Beach? Gone golf.
Play golf. Kyle and I, we played one. We got to play one round of golf. We did not. We were wanting to do the little par 3 pitch and putt place, but because of some rainouts on Monday with baseball, that ended up not being able to happen. So, but I thought the area was nice. It's us being fans of the Outer Banks. It's a lot more built up than the Outer Banks.
Yeah, like you got the skyscrapers and stuff. Like honestly, we changed rooms partway through ours because they were painting outside our balcony. So they gave us a different room, but they gave us the penthouse. So we were on the 14th floor, looking out on the ocean. That was really, really nice. I couldn't imagine being there in the summertime though, because we've never been there and at the craziness of it. But Steel Loyal can probably let us know all about it, since that's their family vacation spot, and that their cousin lives there. So that's we enjoy our trips to Myrtle Beach. Also, we did something that we hadn't done for a long time because we do it. We did the Pirates Voyage dinner show, which is a nice show for the kids and everything. It's not cheap. It's a Dolly Parton thing. It's right next where they have like a Grand Ole Opry, like not a Grand Ole Opry thing. It's another one. But there's lots of cool stuff to do there. We got the best seashells we've ever had at Myrtle Beach this past year. My son was going up and finding a shell that was looked about the size of a quarter and would grab it to pull it out, and it was this huge conch shell. It just in there. It was crazy. So good stuff. So we'll make sure next week you all get to pick the topic. But since we were kind of catching up, I hadn't really talked to Rich about his time at Myrtle Beach very much. That was great. Sometimes, I mean, Top Golf was even right there, but I've never taken my golf clubs to Myrtle Beach just because I use it as family time. All right, Rich, it is time for our big question this week. And now we've got to try to figure that out. John S. asked the question. He says, do you guys have the Terrible Towel beach blankets? I have a Terrible Towel beach towel that I use as my regular Terrible Towel that I take to the stadium, and you often see it around my neck in the post-game show because that's what I hold on to and wave, because it's more, big dude, little towel. I'm like, if I'm a big dude, I need a big towel. So there we go. So there we go. Rich, any thoughts on the big question tonight?
Yeah, no, we didn't get where I thought we didn't go the way I thought it could go for what I was thinking. So no.
Okay.
All you, Dave.
So I've got one that kind of goes the way so many new pieces. Can we tell the game the Steelers are playing? The thing is not as much. That's exactly right. Afton said Dave makes the beach towel look like a regular terrible towel. Because you know what? Because Afton seen me with the beach towel. She actually has when I saw her at the stadium. So that's interesting. Is that there might be breaking news? Said the Saints just signed Zach Wilson. I don't know if they did or not, but that's funny anyway.
Hold on. I will take a peek.
Yep. Here's the big question then. Okay. I don't want to say it's going to be the biggest surprise, because if it's really a surprise, you wouldn't expect it, and you wouldn't be thinking about it now. So maybe I'm going to say this: when the Steelers take the field this fall, I'm not talking personnel or anything like that. I'm just talking maybe philosophy or the way that they do stuff. I'm going to ask you this question first, Rich, and then I'll answer it, and then we'll put it out there. What do you think will be the biggest change from how we as Steelers fans expect what we expected them to do? And that was just the way the Steelers did stuff or whatever. When it's actually on the field, can you think of one thing in particular that you think would be the biggest change?
What one thing just right off the bat came to my mind, okay? And that is, I am not going to be surprised one bit if when the Pittsburgh Steelers take the field this year, they use the pass to set up the run instead of the other way around.
That's the kind of answer I'm looking for. You ready? That's a good one. That's a good one. Now, before anyone else puts theirs out there, let me get mine, and then I'll put it out there for you all to bring up. Here's mine. I've kind of said this before in other places. Okay. The biggest change that I'm hoping to see from the Steelers. Oh, Christina, jump the gun. Got to wait for it. My biggest change is when they get a lead late in the game, that they won't go into the ultra conservative offense and try to just do enough to win it at the end. Okay. I think with an offensive minded head coach, I think that they're not going to try to win it with their defense making the stops. They're going to try to win it with their offense controlling the ball and staying on the field.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So if you already put yours out there, you got to type it in again because we won't look at it until I got it out there for you all to put yours. Okay. This is a good one. Here you go. Good one, Afton. Better use of offensive weapons. I can see that as a pretty good one. Okay. Or what Kathy's kind of goes along with what I was saying. Play to win and not to not lose.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times the Steelers would play to, yeah. Okay. Steelers took 46. We scored more than 7 in the first quarter. Yes. That's a good answer.
That happen. Yes.
That's a good answer. Okay. TD, Tom Dessenberger says using the middle of the field. Yeah, I think they will use the middle of the field. But I will tell you the truth with this as well. It's not some magic place where instant offense just suddenly explodes. It's also some danger there. So using the middle of the field might not it would be great if it does, but it might not necessarily get you the results you want to see. Okay. John Walter says defensive scheme, 4-man pressures, hybrid linebacker / safety, completely different approach. That was a very good job of trying to keep it concise with what you were trying to say. Good job. Okay. This is okay. Conrad Rice. Did I get the space in the where there should be a space?
Yes,
in the right?
I think so.
That's my problem. I wanted to see Conrad Rice.
Rad Rice. Yeah.
So I think stopping the run is absolutely the most important thing to do to have a quick turnaround. Okay. I'm just going to read the first part of that of the answer. So that's what it was. So did I miss one? Yeah. Steel Loyal says, bring back the steel curtain. I guess that meaning that stout front of the defense. That's just tough. And I think,
and I'll let them chime back in if I hit this correctly. To me, part of that too is the old, let's not just drop our zone 12 yards on 3rd and 10. That's, to me, that's.
I mean, that should have been my answer if it wasn't the other one. That is, stop playing 3rd and whatever to give up 1 yard less than whatever's left.
Yeah.
3rd and 2, we'll give up 1. 3rd and 29, we'll give up 28. No. If you give up 28 on 3rd and 29, guess what the other team's going to do? Go for it on 4th down, and then they keep the drive going. Stop that, okay? I skipped one. Howie says, discover that the team has tight ends. Okay. Honestly, I think that's going to be easier because I think the problem was they had so many tight ends. They didn't utilize any of them enough to really notice. I think it's going to be better to not, I felt that moving on from Jonnu Smith was wise because I think it's just going to give more opportunity to your other tight ends that I think can make more plays for you. So some people are putting in multiple ones. I'm going to bring up this one from Christina. I don't think it's the one that she had before we went in there, and she said other things, but I haven't brought up one yet. So this is the one she gets. It says control the line of scrimmage in the time of possession. I think that's what the Steelers ultimately were wanting to do for a very long time. I just don't know that they were the best at it. So
they showed flashes of that last year.
Yeah. So, all right. That seems to kind of slow down there. So maybe if another one trickles in, I'll bring it up. But make sure you're checking out all our podcasts. We have our regular lineup, coming on. We're not far from finally getting into draft month. By the time,
nope.
What is it? Next week will be the last day of March for us. So we have one more show before we even get into draft month. bro, because that means one more where we don't even get to mention mock drafts with you, right? Because Big Bro hates mock drafts. So that's.
I'll be honest, I haven't looked at one yet. Thank goodness.
Oh, I have for my articles. I haven't done my own yet at all. But that's one thing I'm proud to admit. But we're almost to that time of the year that those will be coming. But that reminds everyone, we are exactly 1 month from the Friday of the draft? Is the Friday the 24th? I think. Thursday's the 23rd, Friday the 24th, I think. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not. So, well, you check that, which reminds me for everybody.
Yeah, Friday's the 24th.
We will, both Thursday night and Friday night, our live stream of the draft, like we've been doing the last couple of years where we just are on during the draft. It's going to be on location at our draft party in Hagerstown, Maryland, in downtown Hagerstown.
Downtown Hagerstown.
That's where we're going to be doing it. If you want to come to Hagerstown for it, I still think Jeff needs to get a rousing round of golf for people that might come in and spend the night and they're here. You know, if any SCNers are doing that. I know that there are other Steelers fans in the area that I've talked to that are like, oh yeah, I want to come check that out. You can reserve your spot for it. There's the article at steelcurtainnetwork.com. I'm pretty sure right now, Tuesday night, it's bumped back up to be the top article. It's one of the ones you'll see it. It's got some fat heads from the draft, as that's the picture of it. You can go in there and you can reserve a spot to come Thursday or Friday or both, or you might just be joining us on our live stream of it otherwise. So, and for those of you that are heading to Pittsburgh for the draft, great, congratulations, enjoy it. I know those media members who cover the Steelers are so not looking forward to the draft and how crazy it's going to be. So John Walter reserve. He said reserve mine. Is that hopefully John? You coming both nights or just one? You gotta let us know. You might have already let Jeff know. So make sure that you have that information that's out there if you're looking for that. Like I said, all our shows, steelcurtainnetwork.com. We'll continue to get all kinds of stuff getting ready for the draft as well. And then the news of everything else. John says he's coming both nights. Yes. So we're looking forward to that.
You said a magic word that would make me consider taking that Friday off and coming down and doing both nights.
I said golf, didn't I?
Yes.
We got to get on Jeff Hartman about that.
Yeah, we'll have to get on Jeff Hartman about that. We could use a golf outing.
Yeah. So John Waters says we could have another long discussion about Rita's. There we go. I'm looking forward to it. So we'll like we said, all the information that we can on that we know for now is there. Rich, what do you have to say to close this out tonight?
Wow, we really are coming up on just about 4 weeks. 4 weeks from Thursday will be the draft. I can't believe both how long things are in between, but also how quickly they seem to go. There's going to be a lot of talk between now and the draft still going on for the Steelers. So you want to stick with us. You want to be checking out some of the articles on Steel Curtain Network. Checking out the podcast because it's honestly, it's hard to keep up with everything. It is not easy. Especially because I like to not just know what's going on with the Steelers. I do like to watch around the league on some stuff. And for me, then some things slip by and then I find out about them. Somebody says something, oh, did you know? And I'm like, no, I didn't know. Oh my gosh. But I don't want to miss out on anything Steelers, which is why I try to stay up with what's going on over at SCN. Guys, keep us informed of stuff in our Slack channel because we want to make sure we're coming here every week talking about kind of what's most up to date and what's going on with the Steelers. Like tonight, though, some of what's going on with the Steelers is we don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
We can't nail it down 100% yet with what things are going to do, what they're going to look like. But that's part of this process. That's part of the process when you're talking about 100% turnover in the coaching staff. But it is, although it's unknown and it's change, it's still exciting, even not knowing what it is exactly we're getting excited about. It's exciting just knowing that it's going to potentially look a lot different. When that time comes that we start to figure it all out, hopefully we're all hyped and ready to go for this year's Steelers team. Can't wait.
Relax.